Evening, everyone. Hi, this is Michael Reeves, and today, Stratomatic fans have two reasons to celebrate. Number one, we have the great announcement from Glen Head, New York, that the football game is ready to download. And so I'm sure that a lot of eager players from across the country downloaded the new game with the new rosters. But tonight we have another reason to celebrate, and that is the Summer Sprint title game. The Summer Sprint is a 17-team league in which all the teams play 16 games. Everybody plays another opponent. It is a retro league, and we are turning back the Wayback Machine to 1985, the year of the Super Bowl Shuffle. Chicago Bears with Walter Payton and Refrigerator Perry and Richard Dent and Jim McMahon and so on and so on. They beat the New England Patriots 46-10 in the Super Bowl. And we are celebrating that season with a retro league. A couple of months ago, I myself, coach of the Ironton Tanks, and 16 other coaches had a draft in which we selected units as opposed to individual players. So we drafted quarterbacks, offensive linemen, defensive linemen, linebackers, wide receivers, running backs, you name it. So we had a draft, and that's how we put our teams together. And tonight we are down to two teams. The championship tonight will include Lincoln County, who are coached by Tom Cook, and he will square off against the Maine Chiefs, and they are coached by Dan Morin. These are two veteran Strat football coaches. They are in a number of leagues, so it's no surprise to see both teams here at the top. Lincoln County finished the regular season 13-3, which was tops among all 17 clubs. And Maine finished 12-4. And both teams last night played in semifinal competitions for the right to play in this game. Last night, Lincoln County defeated Pittsburgh in come-from-behind fashion, 27-20. They were trailing throughout the first half and returned a kickoff on the first play of the second half. Ron Brown actually took one back 89 yards, which gave them the lead 24-20, which they did not relinquish. They added a field goal, and so Lincoln County was able to upend Pittsburgh. Final score of 27-20. Also last night, the Maine Chiefs defeated Seattle 23-21. So that's where we find ourselves tonight in this title game. Again, Lincoln County was the regular season champion with 13 wins. The Maine Chiefs were 12-4 and finished in a three-way tie for second. As I said, it's a 17-team league, and every team played all the other teams in the league one time, and Maine did play Lincoln County and was able to come away with a victory. The Chiefs 31 and the Lincoln County Lettermen 21. I was going over the stats before this game, and I can tell you that Lincoln County is led by quarterback Danny White, who was second in the league in quarterback rating with a 90 rating, 90-plus rating, actually. His main target is Tony Hill, who was in the top 10 in receptions, and he also led the league in receiving yardage and in touchdowns with 15. And their main running back is Craig James, who had 300 carries this season. Lincoln County's calling card is defense. They are led by Bobby Hebert, but their calling card, as I mentioned, is defense. This is a pretty amazing statistic, actually, and I guess I gave it away. Of the top 10 leaders in sacks, Lincoln County had 4 of them. And I guess it's no surprise because 3 of them were from the Super Bowl champion Chicago Bears, and that included Richard Dent and Steve McMichael. But he also had a couple of players from the New Orleans Saints, and that included Ricky Jackson and Whitney Paul. And in last night's game against against Pittsburgh, which I was able to broadcast, Whitney Paul had a big interception. Had a big interception against the Steelers. But it kind of was a momentum shifter for Lincoln County. So they had four players with double digits sacks, including Richard Dent with 16, Ricky Jackson 15, Mongo McMichael with 14, and Whitney Paul had 11. So that's pretty amazing when you've got four of the top 10 sack leaders. Amazingly, the overall sack leader was Carl Mecklenburg, who had 25 sacks, and he was trailed by Andre Tippett with 20. Mecklenburg was one of the first picks, as I recall. I think it was the linebacker set for Seattle, or maybe in defensive line because he can play both positions. So we are just moments away from getting this started. I'm thumbing through the statistics here to see if there's anything else worth sharing. So right now we are waiting on an IP address from Tom Cook, and as soon as he provides it, we will connect to the game and we will get this started. Again, Stratomatic, today, if you're listening to this broadcast, or if you're going to be joining us here in just a little bit, I'm sure that you're already aware that Stratomatic has sent out the game and the ratings disc, which is available for download, and a lot of us are gearing up for our drafts. SOMIFA 28, for example, it's a brand new 2018 league. It's starting this Thursday. I am a second-year member of the Autumn Wind League. I'm quite fond of the league. It's a 30-team league, and it's highly competitive. And I will be in my second season. That draft will start September 1st. And SOMIFA, which is what many people consider to be the granddaddy of all, that draft is coming up here soon. They have now given me the IP address, so we're going to go ahead and log in here momentarily. And we will get this party started. Okay, so we have Dan. And I've just let everybody know, good luck. Let's go ahead and get the game board started. So in the bottom right-hand corner, if you're watching this for the first time, I'm going to put the card image. This is a card and dice game. And up in the top right-hand corner, if you want to follow along, we're going to have another bar card so far today. We'll put that in the upper right-hand corner. And so that way you can check the statistics of the last ball carrier. If a quarterback throws the ball, his stats will be featured, and we'll have the person who caught the ball, the receiver's stats also will be featured. Also, anybody who makes a tackle, a sack, a fumble recovery, or an interception, those statistics are tracked as well. So again, this is the Summer Sprint 2017 Championship. This is a retro league using 1985 cards. So let's go back to the Wayback Machine, if you will, the era of Joe Montana and Walter Payton. A very fun time for football, very fond memories for me. It's like watching these games are like bringing your old football cards out. I should go get my Topps cards right now and follow along. So again, Lincoln County was the regular season champion at 13-3. The Maine Chiefs finished 12-4, second in the league. And we're just about ready to get underway. Lincoln County, the name of the game for Lincoln County is defense. The name of the game for the Maine Chiefs is Danny White, Craig James, and Tony Hill. Those are your big three. So let's see if Maine has come up with a game plan to be able to stop the manic rush that is Lincoln County with four players with double-digit sacks. Richard Dent, Mongo McMichael, and linebackers Ricky Jackson and Whitney Paul. The Lincoln County Lettermen are coached by Strat veteran Tom Cook, champion of multiple leagues, and Dan Morin is the coach of the Maine Chiefs. Two very, very good coaches and two very, very fine people, and are instrumental in the growth of this hobby. And we are underway, and this is the opening kickoff. And it's a nice kickoff to open up the game. That was Steve Tasker of the Maine Chiefs, who will open up this summer sprint championship game. Maine facing off with Lincoln County for the title. Maine 12-4, coached by Dan Morin. And Lincoln County 13-3 regular season champs, coached by Tom Cook. And again, this is Michael Reeves on the call. Very happy to bring this game. I coached the Ironton Tanks this season, led by Lynn Dickey, if you want to call it led by. It wasn't exactly a brilliant season when you only finished 3-13, but I was very fond of this league. I really enjoy retro seasons, so I was very pumped up to be in the league. Disappointed I didn't play well, but certainly excited to call this championship game. Two great coaches and two fine teams. Okay, so we've got two very good coaches, and I'm sure they're going to be taking their time between plays, so I'll try to fill in the gaps while we're waiting. But I hope we have a good connection tonight and we'll be able to maintain this. We had a game last night that unfortunately was marred by a lot of disconnections, and we'll keep our fingers crossed that tonight that we're able to bring this game seamlessly to you from beginning and end. So thank you to the fine folks at Stratomatic for putting together such a wonderful game. Glenn Head, this one is dedicated to you. So let's have a good one. So Maine will start out. The ball at their own 44, 1st and 10. They have a three-wide set. That is Craig James in the backfield. That's Danny White under center. And here comes a flat pass over to Doug Cosby. Play is guessed right. And the pass is caught, but Cosby is hauled down 2 yards in the backfield for a loss. As you can see, Danny White has a pretty solid guessed right flat pass column. Not many blank spaces, but Dan happened to roll the negative yardage card. So it'll be 2nd down and 12 for the Maine Chiefs. 12-4 in the regular season, facing off against Lincoln County, regular season champions, 13-3. Maine defeated Seattle last night for the right to play in this game. Lincoln County defeated Pittsburgh. The winner will be crowned Summer Sprint Champion for 2017. This is the 1985 retro set. This is my first opportunity to see Maine play. I have seen Lincoln County play once, so I'm a little more familiar with them. Early on, they're starting out with a three-wide set. I don't know if that's how they're going to continue the game, but that is how they are starting. Doug Cosby is usually rated as a tight end, but in this case, he can play wide out, and that's what Dan Morin has decided to do. So that is Dallas's wide receiver set. And again, that is Troy Hill, who led the league in receiving yards and receiving touchdowns. Here comes a pass to Carl Rowe. It's a flat pass, and it's good for 6 yards, and that'll bring up 3rd and 6. I am not familiar with Carl Rowe. And unfortunately, as we reset the game, we didn't really get a chance to see what his season-long statistics were. But as you can see, his actual card ratings, he did have 14 catches in the year for 237 yards. He looks to be like a pretty decent deep threat, 16.9 yards per catch. So while I know a lot of these rosters, there are going to be a few players that are going to, from the past, that you might not recognize, and it's probably because they had better strat cards than they had actual regular season. So obviously you're going to pour over your cards and you're going to put out the best 11 that you can. Dan Morin is in the pro set. That looks like the Baltimore Colts. Is that right? Not exactly sure whose line that is. That's Buffalo. That is Buffalo's line. That's an interesting line if you look at it. I'm sure their pass. I'm sure that their pass their pass blocking has to be better than their run blocking. I mean, it's not very often that you're in a league in which you see 3 zeros on the line, but we'll have to take a look at their pass blocking ability. So as you can see, it's a 4-5-5-4. Excuse me, a 5-4-5-5-4. So that's pretty average. So they must have picked them late in the draft. So here's the game's first 3rd down. It's 3rd and 6. And it's another flat pass. And that pass flutters and falls incomplete. So Maine, with excellent field position to start the first quarter, their first possession, are only able to muster 4 yards and will have to give the ball back to Lincoln County. And they are going to punt to some very dangerous special teams artists, not the least of which is Henry Allard. Lincoln County thought enough of these guys to actually pick them very, very early in the draft. This set also includes Ron Brown, who took a touchdown back. And here we go. Henry Allard is going to bring this one back for a touchdown. And wouldn't you know it, on consecutive games, the Lincoln County Lettermen have special teams touchdowns. I can remember plain as day when Tom Cook took this special teams unit so early in this draft, and I just was scratching my head, and it has absolutely paid dividends. Before Lincoln County can trot their offense onto the field, Henry Allard returns a punt, 91 yards for a touchdown. Snake Eyes get you 6 in this league, and that gives Lincoln County the very early 7-0 lead in this summer sprint championship game. So back to the drawing board for Dan Morin. Nothing you can do about a punt return. Henry Allard takes it back 91 yards for a score last night in the semifinal game against Pittsburgh. Lincoln County's Ron Brown took the opening kickoff of the 3rd quarter back for a touchdown, giving Lincoln County a lead that they would not lose for the rest of the game. Once again, special teams coming up big for Lincoln County. So back to the 3-wide set for Maine. The Chiefs are trailing 7-0, lightning striking here in the first quarter. A Henry Allard 91-yard punt return. This on the heels of last night's game, Ron Brown's 89-yard kickoff return. So on first down, that was Craig James, who rushed for 2 yards. As I'd mentioned earlier in the brief pregame, Craig James rushed the ball 300 times this season for over 1,500 yards. And that's Kurt Warner in the backfield, the former Seattle Seahawk. That's Lynn Dawson from New England. That's the tight end. So here comes a run, and this is Warner, and it's 8 yards, and he picks up the extra 10. As there's no linebackers in the zone. And with that extra box, you get an extra 10. So a nice pickup for Kurt Warner on his first carry. So once again, Maine has pushed the ball out close to midfield. 1st and 10, ball at the 40. Dan Morin, coach of the Maine Chiefs, who finished 12-4 this year, facing off against Tom Cook, 13-3 in the regular season. Tom Cook is up 7-0. Maine defeated Seattle last night for the right to play in this championship game. Lincoln County defeated Pittsburgh. And that's the two teams who are facing off today. Maine Chiefs, 1st and 10, ball at their own 40. 3 wide set. Lincoln County counters 3-3-5. Here comes an off-tackle run to Kurt Warner. Defense guesses pass. No linebackers in the zone. But Warner is stopped at the line for no gain. Defensive end 0 or 6, a white die 4, an easy stop for that rough and tumble Bears front 3. Here comes an off-tackle run. It's guessed wrong, and Warner's going to pick up 4 on this play, and that'll bring up 3rd and 6. Ball at the Maine 44. The Chiefs have been on offense throughout this first quarter. Lincoln County has had their hands on the ball only one time, and that was Henry Ellard, who raced 91 yards for a punt return for the game's opening score. Lincoln County is leading Maine 7-0. Maine goes back to the pro set. Doug Cosby now is put back to tight end, and that is Mike Renfro. That's Mike Renfro and Troy Hill. Again, Troy Hill led the league in in receiving yardage and receiving touchdowns. He's guarded by the 5 on the outside. Here comes a flare pass to Craig James. It is complete, but it only picks up 4, and that'll bring up 4th down, ball at the 48. And Dan is not going to take any chances here. Morin is going to go ahead and punt this one. And let's see if he tries to put this one out of bounds, get the ball out of the hands of Ellard, who already has 1 touchdown return. And this punt is going to be shanked. It's only going to travel 29 yards. And this is Ellard again, although this time Ellard calls for a fair catch. So Lincoln County will have their first offensive possession, or at least the first time the offense is going to take the field. They have the ball at the 23 with a little under 9 minutes in the first quarter. They are leading in this Summer Sprint 2017 championship game 7-0. So interesting. I've just noticed something here. So under center is Dave Wilson. Bobby Hebert quarterbacked the Lincoln County Letterman last night to victory. And making the start tonight is Dave Wilson. So that's an interesting change of pace. On that first play from scrimmage, Stump Mitchell was stopped for no gain on the play. And now Bobby Hebert has checked back into the game, so that's very interesting. It may have been a mistake. It could have just been a maybe a lineup error. So perhaps Tom has put him back in the game. I'm not really sure. We'll have to see if we see Dave Wilson anymore. But anyway, Bobby Hebert, who led the team to victory last night against Pittsburgh, is back under center. That is Stump Mitchell, who has just as good as rushing card as he does a receiving card. Plenty of short gains. If you guess wrong, he doesn't have a lot of carries in him, but when he does, look out if you call incorrectly on his card. It's pretty dangerous, and he has a fine receiving card as well. So in the pro set offense, he is going to send Tim Spencer out for a pass. Spencer is going to haul this one in for 9 yards, and that'll bring up 3rd down and 1. Defense guessed run on that play. So Hebert makes him pay. Tim Spencer with 9 yards on the reception. It is 3rd down and 1, ball from the 32-yard line of Lincoln County. We have passed the midway point of the first quarter. The Lettermen are winning 7-0 over the Maine Chiefs. The winner of this contest is going to wear the crown of the Summer Sprint Championship for 2017. We are using the 1985 card set. Of course, the Super Bowl champion Chicago Bears defeated the New England Patriots 46-10 to take home the world title. And needless to say, there are lots of Bears dotted throughout the 17 teams in this league. So 3rd down and 1, Bullhouse backfield for Lincoln County. That includes Otis Anderson and Tim Spencer at fullback. That's Stump Mitchell as the other running back. That's Pete Holohan, who was the big hero for last night's game, certainly one of the big heroes. He had 2 touchdown receptions, including a 30-yard reception. And that's Kenny Jackson, flanked out to the right. So this is the championship game, so you expect both coaches to be a little bit more deliberate in their play calling this evening. This game is going to take some time. Probably won't see it until midnight, but it is the championship game, so everybody buckle up. This should be a good one. 3rd down and 4, Tim Spencer with a 3rd down and 1, Tim Spencer rambles up the middle for 4 yards, and that is a 1st down for Lincoln County. The defense gets pass on that play, so Timmy Spencer picks up the necessary yardage for a 1st down and then some. Ball at the 36 for Lincoln County. Back to the pro set. Again, Mitchell and Spencer. Behind quarterback Bobby Hebert, former New Orleans Saint. And here comes a screen pass to Stump Mitchell. It is guessed correctly. There is one man in the zone. But Mitchell is able to pick up 12. I didn't quite see who was blitzing on that play, but if it's guessed wrong, if it's wrong on Mitchell's card, that must have meant that they were blitzing the linebacker who was assigned to Mitchell. And he picks up 12 on the play. So again, another 1st down. Here's an off-tackle run to Tim Spencer. It's guessed wrong, but it's on the defense card. And the offensive tackle is able to make the block. So a pickup of 4 for the former Ohio State product. 2nd down and 6. That's Mike Quick and Kenny Jackson, former Philadelphia Eagles. Pete Holohan, former Los Angeles Ram. This is an off-tackle run to Stump Mitchell, and he's going to pick up some yardage here, 8 yards, and another 1st down. Now, Pete Holohan, actually, I should correct that. He was a former Los Angeles Ram, but in this card set, Lincoln County picked the San Diego tight end fullback set, and that's how they have Tim Spencer. So another 1st down. Lincoln County now finds themselves in Maine territory at the Chiefs' 40-yard line. Here's another run for Tim Spencer. Guessed wrong, and he picks up 5 on the play. So early on, Timmy Spencer, 3 carries, 13 yards. Second down and 5. These two teams met in the regular season. Maine got the better of it, 31-21. And here comes a pass to Quick, but actually the snap is fumbled. And the ball is recovered by Lincoln County. So Hebert fumbles the snap. But Ray Donaldson is able to make the recovery. For the Colts. And here comes a deep shot, but this one is going to be picked off. A deep shot for Mike Quick, no man in the zone, but when guessed right on Hebert's card, it's virtually an interception on a 10 reading. And so Maine Chiefs are able to intercept and bring it back to the 19-yard line. That interception was made by Dwight Hicks, part of the San Francisco cornerbacks and safety group. So that's one good way to stop the momentum. Lincoln County looked like they were definitely on the march toward another score, a chance to extend that lead. But now Maine Chiefs have a big play, and let's see if they can capture that momentum. Now, in the last two games that I have called, interestingly, I have seen back-to-back interceptions in 2 consecutive games. Now, let's see if this will be a third. Maybe Dan will just put this one in the gut of Craig James and just get some yardage here. So the two coaches are talking back and forth. These are good friends. They've been in leagues for quite some time. And while this is a very competitive league and both these teams want to win the crown, at the same time, you can tell they're also good friends, and they've played in a lot of these for quite some time. Again, it's very competitive, but it's very collegial. After all, this is a hobby and something to be enjoyed by everyone. And so while the competition can get pretty hot and heavy, at the same time, good sportsmanship. We're going to take a break here for just a moment. So Tom Cook will come back here momentarily, and we'll pick up the broadcast. So early on, 3:54 remaining in the first quarter, Lincoln County leading 7-0. Henry Ellard with the first score and only score of the game, a 91-yard punt return on Lincoln County's first possession. Maine Chiefs have not been able to move the ball on their first 2 possessions. They've gotten the ball to close to midfield, but they've not been able to move it much further than that. On the second drive, Lincoln County was able to get to the Maine 40 after stopping Maine at midfield and a very short punt. But an interception by Dwight Hicks on a Bobby Hebert pass intended for Mike Quick stopped that drive. So Maine will take over at their own 19, trailing 7-0. Maine Chiefs, coached by Dan Morin, 12-4 in the regular season. Lincoln County, the regular season champions, 13-3. The winner will take home the 2017 Summer Sprint Championship, and the loser will take home the home version game and a lifetime supply of turtle wax and a year's supply of rice-a-roni, the San Francisco treat. I could not resist. This is what happens when they take breaks. I start stream of consciousness. Anyway, I don't know if anybody's joining us on the live broadcast, but I do hope that you will enjoy the broadcast if you catch it late. I enjoy bringing these games. Tom Cook is the Dean of Broadcasters, and Dennis Crowley calls a fine game as well. So hopefully you will enjoy this one too. And I will be seeing a lot of you very, very soon in the SFFDL draft, which is coming up shortly, the SOMIFA 28 brand new league, the inaugural draft, and Autumn Wind coming up in September. So lots of leagues, lots of fun. Watching these broadcasts is actually how I got into the game. It's how the game was introduced to me. I was listening to Tom Cook call all of these games, and I joined my first league, the spring, let's see, what is that one? The SF, oh my gosh, I've already forgotten. There's so many initials, there's so many letters here to this. SFFA, Spring, SSFA, Spring Stratomatic Football Association. That is run by Ed Barrow. He runs a great league, and that was the first league in which I was involved, and I've been hooked ever since, playing in multiple leagues. Met a lot of friends this way. The broadcast is how I was attracted to this game. So thank you, Tom Cook and Dennis Crowley, for reintroducing this game to me, and I appreciate your all's friendship. And I will enjoy, God willing, playing lots more games for years to come. It's a great hobby. I really encourage you to look up this game. I encourage you to download this game, because I think once you get a chance to play it, once you can break away from Madden, I really think that you'll be hooked. And again, there's a lot of great coaches here who are able to give you a lot of very good advice. And if you watch a lot of these games, you can learn how to play this game pretty quickly. But only the best of the best know the intricacies of every rule, and those become the best coaches. And you perpetually in these leagues see the same groups of coaches rise to the top. And Dan Morin is certainly one of them. James Riley, who played in the title game, who played for the Southern California team here in this league. Again, another 12-4 team. And Dan Morin and Dennis Crowley and Ed Barrow and Jay Villing. And again, the list goes on and on. It seems like the same coaches win again and again, but every once in a while you see somebody come through and play for a title shot. So I will take a break for just a moment. We will join the broadcast again shortly. So hello everybody, we're back. I had to take a break for just a moment. We will pick the game back up. 3rd down and 1. Ball at the 28. Maine Chiefs. Trying to convert this 3rd down. I had to take just a moment to head off to the kitchen to enjoy a snack from our title sponsor, Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Feed your wild side. Like I said, I think this game is going to take till midnight, so we got get a little bit of snack to get this thing through. 3 wide set. Kurt Warner in the backfield behind Danny White. Bears go with a 3-3-5. So if they leave some, let's see if they bring some linebackers up, although you're still facing a 5-5-6 front line. They do bring a linebacker up, and they put him in the end zone, in the end run zone. Here comes a pass deep to Carl Rowe. Wow, nice call. No man in the zone, but the pass falls incomplete. So Dan Moore in 4th and 1, ball at his 28, thinking just a little bit about, can I go for this 4th down? But it's very early in this game. Be quite a decision here to go for it. And he is going to go for it. Well, so an interesting call by Dan Morin of the Maine Chiefs, who is going to go for it. We're only in the first quarter, 2:24 remaining, and it's 4th and 1 at his own 28, and he is choosing to go for it. He does have a 3 wide set. Again, Warner is in the backfield. Danny White under center. Do we see a sneak? Or do we see a flat pass? And here comes that curl pattern. This is with 4 in the zone. He throws short to Tony Hill. There's 4 in the zone. And can Tony Hill make the catch? And he does. So Lincoln County called run, brought many of their linebackers to the line. They were not punished for that. Instead, Dan Morin decides to go short. But that pass to Tony Hill is caught. It's good for 16 yards. Again, Tony Hill, one of the premier wide receivers in this summer sprint league. He had 70 catches. He led the league in receiving yards, and he led the league with 15 touchdown receptions. So a big catch there. So Dan Morin gambles and wins, and now he has the ball once again at the 44. The Maine Chiefs have not been able to cross the 50-yard line. This is their 3rd possession. They have gotten close to midfield. They've had possession between the 40 and 48, but they've not been able to cross into Lincoln County territory. So let's see if they can capitalize on that 4th down conversion. This is your standard I formation, and here comes a run to Craig James. Defense is double teaming Craig James, but that doesn't really matter here because it is a run. But he's only able to pick up 2, as the offensive onside tackle was not able to make the block. He's rated 0. And as you can see, there are several zeros on that line, including both tackles. So not a very good rushing line, and it didn't seem to affect Craig James, as he was in the top 10 in rushing, had 300 carries this year as well. So 2nd down and 8 for Maine. A little over a minute in the first quarter of this summer sprint. 2017 championship. This is the 1985 Retro League. That is Danny White, former Dallas Cowboy, under center, along with Doug Cosby and Tony Hill. And in the backfield, that is one half of the Pony Express, Craig James, and one of the NFL's greatest names, fullback Mosi Tupu, a 6-rated fullback blocker. We've not seen much of him in this game, so let's see if Dan can take advantage here. 2nd down and 8, ball at the 46, a minute 22 here in the first quarter. And that's another carry for Craig James. He will pick up 4 on the play. He's pretty much been held in check in this first quarter. That's 4 carries, 14 yards. And it's 3rd and 4. So Dan Morin and his Maine Chiefs have made their way finally to the 50-yard line. Let's see if they can actually get into Letterman territory. 3rd and 4. There is a 0-rated linebacker to the left. Let's see if they decide to throw a flat pass that way. That's a pro set, and that is Tony Collins who checks in. And he's alongside Craig James. And here comes a deep pass to Carl Rowe. Defense calls pass, and the pass falls incomplete. Danny White does not have a very good deep pass rating, but he did get 0 men in the zone. Unfortunately, the reading was on Danny White's card. So once again, the Lettermen are forced to punt. And once again, they fail to get into Lincoln County territory. And for his 2nd consecutive punt, that is another shank by Mike Black. It only goes 29 yards, but once again, Henry Ellard calls for a fair catch. So Lincoln County will take over in pretty decent field position at the 32 as we open up the second quarter. So our score, Lincoln County 7, the regular season champion Lincoln County, Letterman 7, and the Maine Chiefs 12 and 4 in the regular season, scoreless. So 7-0 Lincoln County. Tom Cook, coach of the Letterman, takes over 1st and 10, ball at the 32. That's Bobby Hebert, former New Orleans Saint, under center. His wideouts are Kenny Jackson and Mike Quick from the New England Patriots. That is an all San Diego backfield and tight end set with Severs, Tim Spencer, the former Ohio State Buckeye, and Pete Holohan at tight end. That's Eric Severs, fullback. A 5 fullback blocker, and now Tim Spencer, who is a fullback, but also is now has been moved into the halfback spot. So I formation for Lincoln County, a 3-4. 3-4 defense for Maine Chiefs. So in Lincoln County's first play from scrimmage, this will be a Flat pass. To Pete Holohan. And that pass is caught for 7 yards. And that'll bring up second down. Bobby Hebert so far, a perfect 3 for 3 for 28 yards. That was Holohan's first catch. He had 7 yards. In his semifinal competition against Pete Holohan, against Pittsburgh, Tom Cook effectively used Pete Holohan. He had finished with 55 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns, including a touchdown just before the half that narrowed the gap to 2017. I think he had a 30-yard reception. Actually, he was one of those who caught a deep pass. He had a 30-yard reception that led to a score just before the close of the half. And, of course, Ron Brown took the initial kickoff of the third quarterback for a touchdown, giving Lincoln County a lead that they would not relinquish against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that's how they find themselves in the championship game. I think both coaches are having a conversation about some substitutes. No big deal. I'm sure they'll get back at it here momentarily. So we have a break in the action. The Lincoln County Letterman, ball at their 39-yard line, second down and 3. They come out in the pro set, pretty much the standard set that we have seen today, and that is Stump Mitchell, former St. Louis Cardinal, in the backfield, and he's next to the Ohio State Buckeye product, Timmy Spencer. Bobby Hebert under center. So pro set, and Dan counters with his standard 3-4. And so now we have the play call. Here comes a slant pattern to Holohan. The catch is made, but it's only good for a yard. And so that'll bring up third down and 2. Ball at the 40. So on 3rd and 2, the Lettermen are able to convert as Bobby Hebert finds Mike Quick on a sideline pattern, 4 or 5 yards, and the Lettermen will have a first down as they will continue this drive. There's 13 minutes and change remaining here in the second quarter. The Lettermen are leading 7-0 thanks to a 91-yard punt return by Henry Ellard. So that pass to Kenny Jackson falls incomplete. It is second down, ball at the Lincoln Letterman 45. Pro set with Timmy Spencer and Stump Mitchell in the backfield. And here comes a flare pass to Spencer. There are 2 in the zone, but it is guessed wrong, and Spencer hauls it in and will catch it and grow 12 yards as the Lincoln County Lettermen are now in Maine Chief territory. Ball at the Maine 43. So Lincoln County up 7-0, trying to get in scoring position. Here comes a long pass to Eric Sievers. But the pass falls incomplete. So 2nd down and 10 from the 43. And here comes a pitch, this time to Stump Mitchell. There's no linebackers in the zone, and this is going to pick up some yards. It's going to pick up lots of yards, in fact, because we have a box scar. That means no linebacker in the zone, an extra 10-yard pickup. So a nice pickup for Stump Mitchell on his 3rd carry of the afternoon. And another first down for Lincoln County. Ball at the Maine Chiefs 25. So this is the Letterman's 2nd offensive march into Maine territory. Their last drive ended on a deep pass from Abear to Mike Quick that was picked off by Hicks, who was a cornerback for, or defensive back, excuse me, for the 49ers. So Maine was able to stymie that drive, and now they're trying to, once again, prevent another score from Lincoln County and extending this lead. That is a run for Timmy Spencer that only goes 2 yards. He has 4 carries so far for 15 yards, and that's 2nd down and 23. So Lincoln County had put together a play call and Maine called timeout. Second down and 8. And here comes a run up the middle to Spencer. It's guessed wrong, and Spencer's going to pick up 4. So that'll make it 3rd down and 4. Ball at the Maine Chiefs 19. Lincoln County definitely in field goal range. So they've got a good chance to extend that 7-0 lead on this possession. So with the ball inside the 20, the free safety now automatically moves into the short pass zone. Here comes a pitch out to Stump Mitchell. It's guessed wrong. There's no linebackers in the zone, and Mitchell is stopped just short of the 15-yard line, so that'll bring up 4th down. So Lincoln County has a decision to make here. Put up a 33-yard field goal that has a very good chance of going through the pipes and extending this lead to 10-0, or going for it. And Tom Cook has decided the conservative route is the way to go, and he puts Fuad Revez onto the field, who led the league in scoring this year, over 100 and I think it was 117 points actually. So he splits the pipes, and that extends the Lincoln County lead to 10-0. So the Maine Chiefs will take over. with just over 9 minutes remaining in the second quarter. I just saw a note there that Dan had congratulated Tom on a nice drive, and it was a nice drive. So let's see if Maine can put together a drive and put some points on the board here before the half. Plenty of time, 9 minutes, and they will have nice field position here. After Steve Tasker, former Buffalo Bill. You want to talk about memories? I think everybody knows Steve Tasker, the special teams demon for the Buffalo Bills, and probably most remembered for the blowout Super Bowl between the Dallas Cowboys and those same Buffalo Bills who lost 4 consecutive Super Bowls, but Steve Tasker racing downfield to catch up with Leon Lett to strip him of the ball for what was a sure touchdown. I saw I think it was a 30 for 30 on him that he still gets letters to this day for that one play. So if you're going to make a big play, make it on the big stage. 1st and 10, ball at the Maine Chiefs 30. They're trailing 10-0 to the Lincoln County Letterman. The winner of this game will be crowned 2017 Summer Sprint Championship. We are using the 1985 card set. So 3-wide set. Tom Cook and his Lincoln County Letterman counter with a 3-3-5. Dan Morin looking for some answers here. Trailing 10-0, wanting desperately to put some points on the board, get a little bit of momentum before the half. Plenty of time, 8 minutes and change here in the second quarter. So on this first play from scrimmage, this will be a run for Craig James, but he stopped in the backfield as Tom Cook, nice call, called run on the play. So again, we're back with the 3-wide set. So after that off-tackle run by Craig James, that'll bring up 3rd and 9. Ball at the Maine Chiefs 31. So a spectator has joined, not the broadcast, but the game. He's actually listed as spectator. So here comes a crossing pattern to Carl Rowe, and he's double teamed. Wow, what a call by Tom Cook. And that pass falls incomplete. So clearly the least likely target, but Tom Cook had a feeling and he played his hunches. And because of that, once again, Maine Chiefs will turn the ball over. That is a fair catch by Henry Ellard. And Lincoln County will take over at their own 33. Lincoln County is winning 10-0, courtesy of a 91-yard punt return touchdown by Henry Ellard. And just a moment ago, Fuad Revez kicked a field goal, a mid-range field goal, to put the Letterman on top 10-0. But defense has been the name of the game of this first half. Not only has Maine been unable to put the ball into the end zone, they've not been able to cross midfield so far. So good calls by the Letterman. And they lead 10-0 over the Chiefs. 6 minutes to go in the second quarter. Here comes a pitch to Stump Mitchell. He turns the corner, but he's only able to pick up 3. Again, a defensive end 3 or 16 rating, 3 or 16-yard gain. But that defensive end is able to make the play. So now we have 3rd down. Henry Ellard has checked into the game as a wide receiver. And that'll be a 3-wide set. Oh, no, wait a second. I'm sorry. that offensive formation has not been put out there. We're just waiting for Tom to put his offensive formation onto the field. That's the computer suggestion. So 3rd down and 6, ball at his own 37. And while the two are having a conversation, I will rejoin the broadcast shortly. So on 3rd down and 6, Bobby Hebert is pressured. He's flushed from the pocket, and he picks up only 2 yards. And that'll bring up 4th down. Ball at their own 39. Lincoln County will go ahead and punt. And that is a good one. Reggie Roby, longtime Miami Dolphin kicker, 53-yard punt. And Dana McLemore calls fair catch. at the 8, kind of in no man's land. Obviously, Dan was hoping for some sort of a return. So they will start out there driving very, very poor field position. Ball at their own 8. With 4:48 to play here in the Summer Sprint 2017 title game, Lincoln County, led by Tom Cook, is leading 10-0 over Dan Morin and his Maine Chiefs. So on the first play from scrimmage, here's a pass to tight end Doug Cosby, and it picks up 9. Danny White is connected on 6 of his 9 passes, but only for 35 yards. That was Cosby's second reception. And that tackle, I just noticed, was made by Kenny Easley, strong safety. You can see him right there, rated 6. And talk about the Wayback Machine. Just this weekend, he was put into the Professional Football Hall of Fame. That defense has several Hall of Famers, actually. But congratulations to Kenny Easley. So second down. Here comes a sweep to Craig James. It is going to be, potentially a good game. Let's see. It was guessed wrong, but it's on the defensive card, and he loses a yard. Wow. Oh, boy. No, it's no gain. So great call by Dan Moore, and that should have been a first down. But, again, the strong defense, defensive end +1 or +5. But a point was taken away for the formation. And so Craig James winds up with no game. So this will bring up third down and 1 from the Maine Chiefs, 17, 3 minutes, 36 minutes remaining. 3:36 in here in the first half. At the very least, Maine would like to get this first down so they don't have to return the ball. Here comes a deep pass to Carl Rowe, and it is caught. Carl Rowe, guarded by a 4. White die rating of 5. Defender extra 27. So that's how you get out of the hole. Maine Chiefs have the ball at their own 44. So Danny White is able to dial long distance to Carl Rowe. His second catch for 33 yards, a 27-yard reception, and his first down and 10 for the Chiefs, who have not been able to make their way into Lincoln County territory for the entire first half. Perhaps they will on this drive. Here's a toss sweep to Tony Collins. I'm sorry, that's a deep pass to Tony Collins. I apologize. That one man in the zone, the pass falls incomplete. So on 2 consecutive plays, Maine decides to go deep. Pass falls incomplete. Second down. And this is Craig James right back in the backfield again. This is a 3-wide set. Cosby is in the slot, tight end and wide receiver. The Letterman counter with a 3-2-6. Here comes an off-tackle run for Craig James. Defense calls pass, but again, this is on the defensive card. And the pickup is only 2 or 3. So there have been a lot of calls that Dan has made that should have brought a lot more success, but because they are on the defensive card, I can't remember the last time a Craig James run was actually on his card, and most of them have been guessed wrong, but when it goes to the defensive card and you have out front line with a 5.56 and an offensive line with 2 tackles rated 0 on the run. When it goes to the defensive card, you can't hope for too many good things to happen. But the one thing you can hope to happen is it's actually on Craig James' card, but unfortunately, he's not had very much luck, if any, this first half on getting the benefit of calls guessed wrong by the defense. So on 3rd and 7, here comes another bomb to Karl Rowe, and the pass is going to be picked off. The pass is picked off by John Harris, who returns it 25 yards to the Lincoln County 48. I saw a note there from Dan Moore, and that was a nice call. So again, another successful double team. That's twice now that Tom Cook has successfully double teamed Karl Rowe. And this time it results in an interception. So once again, the drive is stopped. And now we'll see if Tom and his Lincoln County Letterman can run a 2-minute drill. They do have the ball at the 48, so great field position. All 3 of their timeouts remaining. Maine Chiefs have to be very careful here. Here's a short pass to Tim Spencer, but that falls incomplete. It was guessed wrong by the defense. Dan Moore and guessed run. So Dan's got to put together a few more calls here and get Lincoln County off the field. They're already down 10-0. They really don't want to see another score on that board, especially because they will be kicking to begin the second half. Here's a screen pass to Stump Mitchell. The defense guesses run. It is guessed wrong, and Stump Mitchell's going to catch this, and he's going to go 9 yards into Maine Chiefs territory once again. Lincoln County makes their way into Maine territory. This is the 5th time they've been in the Chiefs territory. So 3rd and 1, 1:30 remaining. Lincoln County opts not to call timeout. Ball at the 43. So we may have seen a timeout there. Let's see. Yes, we did. The offense calls timeout. So that's not going to put time back on the clock, but well, let's see. We have another spectator who has joined. So Lincoln County came out, I believe, in a pro set offense, and now they've changed their mind, called timeout, and now they have a full house backfield that features Otis Anderson, Tim Spencer, and Stump Mitchell. Defense showing blitz. Third and 1, ball at the Maine Chiefs 43. Here comes a run up the middle to Tim Spencer. Short yardage, 2 linebackers in the zone, but Spencer is able to pick up the first down as he rumbles 5 yards through the middle of the line, and Lincoln County will let the clock roll. I believe they called hurry-up offense, so that means they will stay in the full house offense. So let's see if we see a run here from Stump Mitchell and then a timeout. That's my guess. Well, I was half right. Here comes a deep pass to Stump Mitchell. There's a man in the zone. The play is guessed wrong. And the pass will fall incomplete. That'll bring up 2nd and 10. Clock is now stopped. 1 minute remaining here in the second quarter. Lincoln County up 10-0 over the Maine Chiefs. This is the championship game. Summer Sprint 2017. The last of the leagues. We have drained every drop that we could from the 2015 card set. Now it's on to the 2016 card set, as many of us will be having drafts very soon. And of course, this is a retro league from 1985. So there's a pass from Lincoln County. The defense gets run. That is a pass to Mike Quick, and it picks up 14 yards. And he was able to get out of bounds. So preserving the clock, 52 seconds remaining here in the first half. Lincoln County with the ball at the Maine Chiefs 24. 2 timeouts remaining for the Letterman. Definitely in field goal range, so the Letterman have an excellent chance to tack on to this 10-0 lead. Here comes a run to Stump Mitchell, but he stopped at the line for no gain. And Lincoln County is deciding whether or not to call timeout. They will not. So the clock continues to run. They stay in hurry-up offense, so all their personnel stays on the field. 30 seconds to go on a ticking clock. I formation with Eric Sievers and Stump Mitchell in the backfield. That's Kenny Jackson and Mike Quick, Eagle teammates to the left and to the right, and tight end Pete Holohan, former Charger and Los Angeles Ram. And here comes a quick slant to Pete Holohan. Defender X or short gain, and Holohan is going to make the catch, and he's going to race 14 yards all the way to the Maine Chiefs 10. And so Lincoln County will probably call timeout here. We're waiting. Well, we're waiting to see if timeout was called. So he's trying to make up his mind here, and he does. He does call timeout. So Tom Cook calls timeout, 1st and 10, ball at the 22. They do have 1 timeout remaining, so the run definitely is in play. However, the flat pass is not in play. Stump Mitchell in backfield with Eric Sievers. Pete Holohan tight end. So we've got several options here for the short pass. Bobby Hebert, 9 of 13 for 83 yards in the first half. That was Holohan's 3rd reception on the day for 22 yards. Yesterday, in his semifinal contest against Pittsburgh, he had 5 catches and 2 touchdowns. And here comes a pass to Quick, and that pass falls incomplete. I misspoke, actually. That was a flat pass. It's when you're inside of the 10 that the flat pass is not in play. And so 2nd down and 10. 15 seconds remaining. Lincoln County does have 1 timeout remaining, so if they are stopped short of the goal, they'll need to call timeout. I don't believe there's an option here for hurry up. So here comes a pitch out to Stump Mitchell, and it is on Mitchell's card. It's a short gain, and he is going to get into the end zone for a touchdown. Touchdown, Lincoln County. Stump Mitchell on his 7th carry of the evening. Races in from 10 yards out on a toss sweep left, thus extending the Lincoln County lead to 17-0. And on that extra point, that is the last play of the first half. So we will go into halftime. Lincoln County leading 17-0, and they will be getting the ball in the second half. So an excellent first half for the Letterman, as they have dominated on defense. Maine has been unable to cross the 50-yard line. So needless to say, they've been unable to score in the first half as they are staring at a goose egg. But Dan Morin is an excellent coach, and there's a lot of offensive talent on this team. I can't see them being held down in the second half. And he's had some bad luck on some of these readings. They've almost all, even the ones that are guessed wrong, have been on the defensive card. And when you're staring at the Bears' front line, good things are not going to happen on runs. So hopefully he'll be able to turn it around here in the second half. But again, congratulations to Tom Cook, an outstanding first half. Again, to recap the scoring, Lincoln County has 17 points. They were able to draw first blood early on after a 3-and-out by the Maine Chiefs. Wide receiver and punt returner Henry Ellard from the Los Angeles Rams received a punt at his own 9 and raced 91 yards for a score, giving Lincoln County a 7-0 lead. In the second quarter, kicker Fuad Rivez hit on a mid-range kick to extend the lead to 10-0. And just moments ago, we were frozen out of the game, so we need to jump back in. Moments ago, Stump Minchell raced in from 10 yards out, and that is now where we stand, 17-0 for the Lincoln County Letterman. So we're going to jump back into the second half as soon as we can reconnect. So we will take a break while we try to reconnect, and we will be back shortly. Okay, it appears that both two teams have reconnected. It is 11:48 on the East Coast this Tuesday night, August 8th. And we are in the Summer Sprint 2017 Championship featuring Lincoln County Letterman, 13-3, regular season champs, versus Dan Morin and his Maine Chiefs, who finished 12-4. The Chiefs are trailing 17-0 and are kicking off to Lincoln County. So let's pull the cards back up. And so far today, and away we go. And as you can see, that is Ron Brown to your right. That is his very, very, very extremely dangerous kick return card. Having a touchdown on a 4 is almost unheard of. And a 12 long gain, which I believe would be on the kicker's card. So you hold your breath anytime you kick to Ron Brown. Tom Cook told me yesterday that a lot of the opponents just chose to squib kick, and you're basically handing excellent field position to the letterman every time you do that. In fact, I believe they even said he had a touchdown return on a squib kick. So from their own 22-yard line on first down, here's a pass to Pete Holohan that goes for 8 yards. That's his 4th catch of the evening. So far, Hebert is 10 of 15 for 91 yards. No touchdowns, but no interceptions. So he's played a clean game. Here comes a run for Tim Spencer, and that is a first down as he picks up 2 yards. So Lincoln County has the ball at their own 32, up 17-0 in this Summer Sprint 2017 championship game using the 1985 card set. His 17 points have come from a kick return of 91 yards from Henry Ellard, a mid-range field goal from Fuad Revez, and just before the end of the half, a 10-yard run for Stump Mitchell. And speaking of which, here comes an inside run for Stump Mitchell. It is guessed right, and on Mitchell's card, that is a no gain. So as you can see, Mitchell still with a short gain, even when guessed right on a 7. So you can only imagine when his card looks right, guessed wrong. But he does not have unlimited carries. So you use Stump Mitchell judiciously. This time, Eric Sievers is in the backfield with him, and here comes another pass to Pete Holohan. It's guessed wrong, and this is a reception of 11 yards. So once again, Pete Holohan making an impact. That's his 5th catch for 41 yards in this game. Yesterday, he had 5 catches for 55 yards and 2 touchdowns in the Letterman's win over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Here comes a bomb to Mike Quick. It's guessed wrong, and it's a run, and this is going to be a deep shot for Mike Quick, and he is going to go to the house. Touchdown, Letterman. And the extra point, we missed the animation, but it's good. A Bobby Hebert strike of 57 yards to Mike Quick. And the lead is now 24 points. Dan Morin guessed run on that play. And the Chiefs paid for it. So definitely an uphill climb for Dan Morin, but he's a veteran coach. And he just needs to put together a sustained drive. First order of business is just getting beyond the 50-yard line, which unfortunately the Chiefs have been unable to do in this contest. This is their first possession of the second quarter. They come out in your standard I formation. Bears answer with a 4-3 defense. Seen a lot of nickel 3-3-5 in the first half. But now the Bears have their standard 4-man set. That's a 9-yard reception for Doug Cosby. 2nd down and 1. Ball at the 41. Second down and 1. Now we're back to the I formation again, and look at that strong front line. And it comes into play here as Gary Hogeboom is checked into the game for Danny White. And he is stopped on a plunge up the middle. He loses a yard as defensive right tackle William Perry was able to make that play. And that'll bring up third down. When the Lettermen have gone to a three-man front, Perry has set the bench and that's Steve McMichael in. Here's third down. Here comes a pass, a deep pass to Collins, and the pass is going to be caught. So even guessed right, not much of a chance for a completion, but he happens to strike gold on a 4, and that's a 26-yard gain for Tony Collins. And for the first time in this contest, 9 minutes remaining in the third quarter, the Chiefs have finally broken through and made their way into Letterman territory. Ball at the Lincoln County 34. Dan Morin needs to put some points on the board and do it quickly. Pass call. This is to Tony Hill. And that pass is going to be caught. And that's a pickup of 9. So Gary Hogeboom has checked into the game for Danny White. Hogeboom is 3 for 5 for 43 yards. He just made that deep connection to Tony Collins. Here's a run to Craig James. It's guessed right, and it does not pick up any yards. So third down and 2. They're in field goal range, so chances are we're going to see some points on the board here pretty soon. But Dan needs to be thinking big at this point. Certainly wants to think about 6, not 3. Got to get it back, and got to get it back pretty quick. So this is a very important scoring drive, trailing 24-0. Third down and 2. Eight minutes to go here in the third quarter. And here comes a sweep to Craig James, but there's a linebacker in the zone, and he is stopped. So again, the offensive onside guard is a 0. And Craig James is unable to turn the corner on that sweep. When it was on the defensive card, that was going to be trouble. And so many of these plays, Dan has called some great plays, and they've been guessed wrong, but unfortunately they've been on the defensive card, and you're running right into the strength of this Lincoln County defense. With a dangerous front 4 plus a linebacker 6. So here we go, a curl pass to Tony Hill. It is guessed right, and it is caught. So nice play, 14-yard catch. Gary Hogeboom finds his teammate, his Dallas Cowboy teammate, and Maine Chiefs teammate, Tony Hill, for a 14-yard reception. That is his 4th catch for 41 yards, and Hogeboom on this drive is 4 for 6 for 57 yards. Actually, excuse me, he is 3 of 5 on this drive for 57 yards. He did throw an interception in the second quarter. So most of the snaps have been taken by Danny White, but it appears that Dan Morin has decided for the second half, Gary Hogeboom is going to lead the club. And here comes a pass to Craig James. It is caught, and a 7-yard reception and a second down and 3. The flat pass now is out of commission. Gary Hogeboom has a pretty decent short and long pass card. Danny White is more of a flat pass specialist, and when you're down by 24 points, you need to start thinking about throwing the ball downfield. But that was a flat pass reception for 7 yards. And that'll bring up second down and 3. Full house backfield. That features Craig James, Kurt Warner, and Mosi Tatupu with Doug Cosby at tight end. And that's Tony Hill flanked out to the left. And here comes an off-tackle run to Mosi Tatupu, and Tatupu gains 3 yards. And it was guessed right, but he is able to lurch forward 4-3. So the New England Patriots, and one of the top 10 all-time names in professional football, Mosi Tatupu, picks up 3 and an important first down. So now Dan Morin definitely on the doorstep here and has a great chance to cut into this lead. Hogaboom is under center. He has led this drive, critical drive for the Maine Chiefs. Ball at the 2, full house backfield. Again, James, Kurt Warner, Mosi Tatupu in the backfield. Hogaboom under center. Cosby at tight end. And Tony Hill staring at a wall of 5s and 6s, courtesy of the Bears front 4 and some strong support from the New Orleans Saints linebacker crew. Here comes a pass to Tony Hill. It falls incomplete. Second down and 2. So Lincoln County up 24. But Maine is on the doorstep. Can Chicago stir the echoes of the 1986 Super Bowl, celebrating the 1985 season, and put together a goal line stand and keep the Chiefs out of the end zone? Full house backfield, 4-3 setup. A run up the middle to Craig James. It's guessed wrong, but again, it's on the defensive card. But this time, James is able to find the end zone for a score, and that will make it 24-6. Now, this is a retro league from 1985, but we have played with the option of the 2-point conversion, and so Dan is thinking seriously about going for it here. And he does think better of it. After all, he would have to get 3 consecutive 2-point conversions, and you don't want to mess with the math here, so he's going to go ahead and settle for the extra point. And this is Eddie Murray, former Detroit Lion, and he puts it through. So Maine is on the board, 24-7. Maine is on the board 24-7. We did not see punt return animation there. Let's see if we can get... You know, that's the shame of it, is that you also lose out on what exactly happened. But anyway, Lincoln County will take over, ball at the 42. And here comes a crossing pattern pass. This is into the short pass zone to Mike Quick, and it is caught for 16 yards and a first down. Bobby Hebert has been very solid today. 13 of 18 for 175 yards and a score. And that pass went to Mike Quick, who has 4 catches on the day for 92 yards. Here's a pitch out to Stump Mitchell. Guessed right. No gain on the play. Second down and 10 for Lincoln County in this Summer Sprint 2017 championship game. 3 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Lincoln County, the regular season winner with 13 wins, up 24-7 over the Maine Chiefs, who finished 12-4 on the season. These two clubs did meet in the regular season. Maine Chiefs coming out on top, 31-21. And here is a bomb to Mike Quick. The defense keys on a run on Timmy Spencer, and this one could be a big one, and it is going to be a big one. Mike Quick is going to make the catch. Just how far is he going to go? He is going to find his way to the end zone for another touchdown. Mike Quick, a 58-yard long bomb reception from Bobby Hebert. So for the second time in this game, Hebert and Quick have dialed long distance. And Lincoln County, just like that, goes back out on top, actually extends their lead 30-7. Again, we missed the extra point animation. As it turns out, they did miss the extra point. So that was Fuad Revez who must have choked on the extra point. But anyway, Lincoln County is comfortably ahead, 30-7. So Maine finally is able to crack the 50-yard line and eventually found their way into the end zone on a very nice drive, something that was critically important to get on the board and put a little steam behind this comeback effort. They had cut the lead to 24-7, and just a few scant plays later, Bobby Hebert over the top to Mike Quick for his second consecutive deep scoring strike. And now Lincoln County is ahead once again by 23. So a minimum of 3 scores. So Dan Morin has to be a little bit shell-shocked here, and more likely than not is going to have to force the ball downfield a little bit more maybe than what he would like. But he is trying to stay with the pattern. Again, that's a run to Craig James. But once again, boy, what just really bad luck. Again, it's one thing to draft correctly, and that's what Tom has done. And he's put together a very stout defensive line. But more often than not, these Craig James run calls have been guessed incorrectly, and rightly so. I mean, Cook is trying to prevent something deep. He'll give up those short runs because he knows if the roll goes to the defensive card, chances are it's not going to pick up very much of anything because they have such a strong front line and they have linebacker support to boot. But regardless, Craig James has had quite the pedestrian day as a result. 13 carries for only 21 yards. For the season, he rushed for 1,500 yards. So to say the least, I'm not exactly sure if this was the game that anybody was expecting from him. He certainly needed a big game to be able to control the game, to be able to control the clock. And so far, it's not happening. So on third down, there's an 8-yard completion to Tony Collins. That's his second catch. Early on, he hauled in a deep shot from Danny White at the time. I believe I believe that was Danny White who was in at the time. It was a 26-yard bomb. So that will bring up 4th and 2. Dan Morin already has gone for it on 4th down. Early in the second quarter, he was able to convert. Now it's down 3 touchdowns and some extra points. It's a no-brainer. He's got to go for it here on his own 36. So, frankly, this could be the ball game. And here is a button hook pass to Craig James. It's guessed wrong. Nice call by Dan Morin, and this time it is on his card, and he picks up 8. So, first down for Lincoln County, their second 4th down conversion. We have now come to the close of the third quarter. Lincoln County is leading Maine 30-7 in this summer sprint 2017 championship contest using the 1985 retro season. We are a few weeks away from beginning the 2017 seasons in a number of leagues. SOMIFA 28, Autumn Wind, SFFDL. Of course, there's a lot of other leagues throughout the country. And of course, today was a big day for celebration as we were able to download the new game and the new rosters. However, I am not among those people because I am calling this game tonight. And if I would have done that, I would not be able to watch this game because we're still basically playing with the old game, the old version from last year, that is. So this game is going to end about 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm getting a little punch drunk. It's going to end at about 1 o'clock this morning. I don't see me downloading the game early. The Sandman, he is a calling. But we're going to finish up this game. Lincoln County leading 30-7. 3rd down and 5 for the Maine Chiefs. And here's a pass to Derek Ramsey, but it falls incomplete. And that'll bring up 4th down. Gary Hogaboom is 7 for 12 for 80 yards and a touchdown. He also has thrown an interception. The Maine Chiefs have been able to get into Lincoln County territory only one time in this game, and they were able to parlay that into a score on their last drive. Craig James, a 2-yard run that cut the lead to 24-7, but Lincoln County has answered with a touchdown. So for the third consecutive time, Dan Morin is able to convert on third down. Again, another pass to Derek Ramsey, this time for 11 yards. He's able to haul this one in, and that is a first down for the Maine Chiefs. As for the second time in the game, they have made their way into Lincoln County territory. They are at the Letterman 40, trailing 30-7. Touchdown or bust on this drive. They need some points, and they need some breaks. And by points, I mean touchdowns, and by breaks, I mean fumbles and interceptions and quick threes and outs. I guess that would be 3 and outs. Here's a deep pass to Craig James, but on the receiver rating, he only has 1 reception, and that's a 25-yard gain. He was hoping for a defensive reading. Of all the, on the runs, poor Craig James has had so many runs guessed wrong, but they've all been on the defensive card, and on the one time that you want it to be on the defensive card, it winds up on his card, and he only has a long gain 25-yard, long pass 25-yard reception on a 3, so not much of a chance on that play. Second down and 10 from the Lincoln County 40. Pro set offense, that's Tony Collins, flanked with Craig James in the backfield, Gary Hogaboom under center. Gary Hogaboom, 9 of 14 for 91 yards. That's a 1-yard pass. That is a 1-yard pass to Carl Rowe. And it's now third down. That's Jack Del Rio on the stop. Jack Del Rio, the middle linebacker, 4, flanked by Ricky Jackson, who is a 6, and that 0 is Whitney Paul. All New Orleans Saints linebackers. So 3rd and 9 at the Lincoln County 39. Here comes an off-tackle draw to Craig James, but once again, it's on the defensive card. But the offensive onside tackle roll comes up, and unfortunately, not a very good rushing offensive line. 3 zeros, as you can see on that line. And when that tackle rating comes up, you take the lesser route, and it's a 2-yard pickup. So 4th down and 7. Dan Morin has converted 3 consecutive 4th downs, but this one has the greatest amount of yardage attached to it. It's a 7-yard conversion. So not being able to convert any of these 4th downs would spell doom, but so far he's 3 for 3. And so now he's picking his poison. So he has, again, Gary Hogaboom under center. Danny White has not seen any action here in the second half. This is a 3-wide set with Tony Hill and Carl Rowe and Mike Renfro in the game. Carl Rowe is being guarded by a 0. That's Doug Cosby, who is being guarded by a 6 strong safety. And that's the Hall of Famer, Kenny Easley. So here comes a long pass. And this pass is going to fall incomplete. Pass was intended for Tony Collins. So for the 4th time in this contest, Maine decides to go for it on 4th down, but this time, and for the first time, they are unsuccessful. They're 3 for 4 in this game. So now the order of business for Lincoln County is to munch some clock. That first run is from Tim Spencer. He is stopped at the line of scrimmage, and that'll bring up 2nd down. 10:48 remaining. Lincoln County is comfortably ahead, 30-7. Lincoln County likely will keep this ball on the ground and try to munch some more clock. Stump Mitchell is dropped for a 1-yard loss, and that'll bring up third down. Pro set offense again. Mitchell and Spencer, pretty much the offense of choice throughout this afternoon. Mitchell has been kept pretty quiet in this game. He does have a 10-yard touchdown run. He only has 10 carries for 41 yards. So on third down, this is an inside run to Stump Mitchell, and he decides to just take a little bit more time off the clock. Mitchell picks up 7, bringing up 4th down and 4. Reggie Roby comes in. It's only a 34-yard kick, but once again, a fair catch is called for by Dana McLemore. And Maine will take over at their own 23. 9 minutes to go. Very likely we're going to see more and more deep throws here, a lot more downfield. Trailing 3 scores. They've got to get some yards and get some yards in a hurry. So they will start in the 3 wide sets, and that is tight end Derek Ramsey in the game. Doug Cosby will be in the slot for this play. Tony Hill to your left. He led the league in receiving yards. He led the league in touchdowns, and he was in the top 10 in receptions with 70. So here comes a pitch out to Craig James. It's guessed right. No, actually, I'm sorry, that was guessed wrong. But I believe that's guessed right because of the formation that they are in. So Craig James picks up 4. Second down and 6. Here comes a pass to Tony Hill, and that pass falls incomplete. That'll bring up third down. Gary Hogaboom, since replacing Danny White, 9 of 17, 492 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. This third down pass falls incomplete. So once again, 4th down and 6. Maine is 3 for 4 on 4th down conversions, ball at their own 27. Hogaboom is in the shotgun. Here comes a pass to Derek Ramsey. Defense is double teaming Cosby. The pass falls incomplete. And so Lincoln County will take over with 7:48 remaining here in the 4th quarter. They have the ball at the Maine Chiefs 27-yard line. They are up 30-7. And Maine, Lincoln County, more likely than not, is going to try to ground this out for the rest of the game. That's a Tim Spencer 2-yard run, and that is a Tim Spencer 5-yard run. That'll be third down and 3, ball at the Maine Chiefs 20, 6:36. Both coaches appear to be just clicking through. There's a run for Stump Mitchell. That is a pickup of 1, and that brings up 4th down and 2. Rivez will come on to kick the field goal from 36 yards. It is good, and Lincoln County now has extended their lead to 33-7 with 5:06 to play. 3 wide set with Hogaboom under center. That's Craig James in the backfield. 3-2-6 for Tom Cook and his Lincoln County Letterman, who are on their way to the 2017 Summer Sprint Championship. Here's an off-tackle run for Craig James, guessed wrong, and finally it's on his card. About 3 quarters too late, unfortunately. That is a 16-yard pickup for James. That is 17 carries for 48 yards. And Lincoln County, for the third time in this game, they are now in Lincoln. Maine is now in Lincoln Lincoln County territory for the third time this game. Ball at the 47. Let's see if they can put some more points on the board. That was an incomplete pass from Gary Hogeboom to Craig James, the intended target. 3 wide set. Here's a short pass that falls incomplete to Doug Cosby, 3rd down and 10. Ball at the Lincoln County 47. We're in the waning moments of this 2017 summer sprint competition. Lincoln County comfortably ahead 33-7. So congratulations to Tom Cook, who will be the winner of the 2017 summer sprint competition using the retro season 1985. That was a run for Tony Collins as he picks up 9 on the play. But with the linebacker run containment, he did pick up a short gain of 14, but he only is able to accumulate 9 yards as he stopped 1 yard short of the first down. So once again, a 4th down conversion attempt for Maine, and it goes all for naught as Hogeboom is sacked, and that will leave 3 minutes to go. And we will try to click through these last few moments. This is a Stump Mitchell run of no gain. So 2nd down. And again, let's see who's going to carry this one. This one goes to Tim Spencer. It's on the defensive card. And he only picks up 1 on the play. So Tim Spencer has 12 carries for 35 yards. A run up the middle this time for Tim Spencer. I'm sorry, that was the last animation. I was looking at some conversation here between Dan Moore, and it says time for the 2016 set. And Tom Cook said, indeed. And this is a woodshed beating. That's pretty funny. Again, these are 2 very, very good coaches. And you hate to see a game end this way because all of the games leading up to this have actually been very, very competitive. And it's a shame for this final game to go down this way. But again, this is all in fun. This is a retro league that we have that ties us over until the 2017 regular season starts. So Dan Morin is going to shake off the shackles of the 1985 season. He's going to put his 2016 thinking cap on and get set for his upcoming drafts. He's a very good coach and a very nice person on top of that, and I'm sure that he will take this loss in stride. Here's an off-tackle run to Stump Mitchell, 3rd down and 9. And no gain on the play, so that'll bring up 4th down. That will take us under the 2-minute warning. That's 1:15 left. Roby's going to go ahead and kick this one deep. A 42-yard punt. And there will be no return. The ball will be down at the 9. So 1:07 to play for Dan Morin. He comes out. Well, he doesn't put a 4 wide set. Let's see. It's a 3 wide set. Let's see if he just tries to run this thing out. Sure, at this point, they're just clicking through. Hogeboom's going to take a knee. They're just going to run out this clock. So your final score, and congratulations to the Lincoln County Letterman, who will defeat the Maine Chiefs 33-7. So Lincoln County 13-3 on the season with 3 playoff wins. Will finish off 16-3. So the overall regular season champion is the title winner for the Summer Sprint 2017 season. Dan Morin, 12-4 in the regular season. Winner of 2 playoff games, loser of the title game. He will finish 14-5. So congratulations to both coaches. It's a shame that this thing got out of hand like it did. Again, both coaches are excellent. Both teams are excellent. This could have gone either way. In the regular season, in fact, Maine defeated Lincoln County 31-21. But in this one, no contest, wire to wire, Lincoln County wins it 33-7. And we will see if Tom Cook will be joining us for this broadcast. I'm sure he's going to want to send me a link here, or want me to send him a link momentarily, and I will try to do so.
Hey, Michael, is it over?
It is officially over. That is correct. 33-7. The
Cool.
Lincoln County Letterman.
Congratulations, Tom.
Absolutely, from wire to wire.
And you are the MVP, Michael, for calling these late night games 3 in a row. Some of them lasting 3 hours. You are amazing.
I'm not even sure who's talking to me right now. I don't even know. I've lost track of just about everything over here, Dennis.
Well, your grateful commissioner is very happy. Thank you for stepping up and helping everybody out.
No, that's not a problem. My grip on reality is slowly but surely fading. But this was just a dominating performance from beginning to end. I don't know how much of the broadcast you listened to, but Lincoln.
Very little. I was, this is like I'm doing stuff with the kids, doing homework. We went swimming. So I put it on for a little bit and then I had to shut it down. And I saw the score. It looked like Tom was putting together a dominant performance. So congratulations to him. Congratulations to Dan for pulling out that last minute game last night. That was pretty fun to play in, and I'm sure it was fun to watch.
Yeah, I got a chance to watch the replay of that. It was a very, very good game. It's just a shame for a championship game to end this way. And I mean, not to take anything away from Tom, but so many of Craig James just was not able to get started in any way, shape, or form. And again, when you're staring at the Bears' front three for the most part, but usually their front four, so many of those wrong guessed runs were on the defensive card, and James was just pretty much getting 1 yard at a time, 2 yards at a time, if that. He was just never able to get anything.
I'll be right up. Yeah. I'll have to watch the replay. I got to run again. The kids are being rambunctious, but again, thanks, Michael. Appreciate it. Congrats, Tom. Good job, Dan. And I'll get that prize money out to you guys. Way to go.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Dennis.
All right. Take care.
All righty. So that was Dennis Crowley joining us on the broadcast here just a moment ago. And I will be sending the link to Tom Cook to see if he wants to join. It is kind of late, so I wouldn't blame him a bit if he decides to hit the hay. But we will go back. We'll go back to the broadcast here real quick, and we'll take a look at some statistics before we go. We'll see if Tom decides to join us or not. Yeah, they're continuing to talk to each other. So let's open up the box score here really quick, and we'll do a wrap-up. So again, your final score, Lincoln County 33. They are the 2017 Summer Sprint champions. They were able to dominate Maine today, 33-7. It started out early, and it started out often. Lincoln County got the momentum very quickly on their first possession. After a 3-and-out by Maine, Henry Ellard was able to return a punt 91 yards, giving Lincoln County the lead. Midway, in the second quarter, they extended their lead on a Fuad Revez 33-yard field goal. With seconds to go in the first half, Stump Mitchell on a sweep toss left picks up 10 yards, and so Lincoln County had the lead 17-0 at the half. In the third quarter, Bobby Hebert connected with Mike Quick on a 57-yard long gain for a score, extending the lead to 24-7. Dan Morin on the following drive was able to get into the end zone on a Craig James 2-yard run on a nice long drive. So at that point, they had cut the lead to 24-7, but it didn't take very long for Lincoln County to put points back on the board. In fact, it was just a couple plays later that Bobby Hebert found Mike Quick for his second long scoring toss of 42 yards, and any chance of a comeback at that point was squashed. Fuad Revez added a late field goal to make it 33-7. A dominating performance on defense. As we look at the totals here, only 10 first downs for Maine, and they were only 2 of 14 on third down conversions. Only 79 yards rushing. And through the air, they completed 150 yards. Gary Hogeboom came into the second half, and he finished 9 of 21, so it looks like he had more attempts than Danny White did. He came into the game late because trailing by so many points, Dan Morin decided that he needed to throw the ball downfield a little bit more. Danny White is more of a control game manager, passer, an excellent flat pass card, but if he has to throw downfield, he's not going to be helping you much. So he chose to put Gary Hogeboom in, and he did get the ball down the field, and he did manage to lead the Maine Chiefs to their first and only score, which culminated in a Craig James run of 2 yards out. Hogeboom did throw the team's only interception. So for the Lincoln County Letterman, Bobby Hebert was a very efficient 14 of 19 for 217 yards, and his big scoring strikes, of course, were to wideout Mike Quick, former Philadelphia Eagle, finished with 5 catches for 134 yards, and in my book, I believe he would be the MVP of this contest. Not much action on either team as far as rushing is concerned. Craig James finished with 48 yards, had a very hard time getting it going. Stump Mitchell, who also has a very solid card, didn't fare much better. He did rush for 49 yards, but he did get 1 touchdown. Craig James also had a touchdown as well. Not really much from the receiving side from Maine. Again, Mike Quick, 5 catches for 134 yards, including a 57-yard scoring strike and a 42-yard scoring strike. Nothing really statistically stands out from the defensive standpoint here. As far as sacks, of course, special teams made a big difference in this game. Henry Ellert, a punt return for a touchdown. Lincoln County in their game against Pittsburgh, in which they won 27-20. That was a big momentum builder there. In this game, they opened up the first quarter with a punt return touchdown that gave them the lead that they never relinquished in their game against Pittsburgh, trailing 2017 at the half. On the first play of the third quarter, Ron Brown returned a kickoff, 89 yards for a score. So in this summer sprint draft, Tom Cook had selected early the Los Angeles Rams special teams artists, which are Henry Allard and Ron Brown. We never saw Ron Brown as a wide receiver in any of these games, but he certainly made his mark as a
Hello, Michael.
Hey, and there is. We are the champions, my friend. That's it. So congratulations.
Is it past your bedtime, Michael?
I have time to talk to you. There's only one title game, and I can stay up for it. Not a problem.
There you go. Hold on a second while I drink something. It's not champagne. That was obnoxious. Give me some water. Oh, boy. I was very fortunate.
Fortunate is one thing, but that was a pretty dominant performance. You can't argue that. He couldn't even get past the 50-yard line until the second half. So, and listen, hey, it's nice when you play with house money and you drafted well and you put together that. I mean, look at the impact that your draft had. Your first-round draft pick was your front four, which was completely dominant this game. There were so many calls that Craig James had where they were guessed wrong, and yet they were always on the defensive card, and so he's not going to wind up with too many yards. And once again, look what we have here. That very early draft pick of the Los Angeles Rams special teams, 2 consecutive games, what an impact it made.
Henry Ellard, baby. He did not return a punt for a touchdown from you all year long. I don't. Now it's only on a 2. You're only going to get it once out of every 36 returns, and of course you have coffin corner punts and stuff like that. So you're not even going to, you maybe even get, much more than 36 chances out of a guy the whole season. But I had a guy in Samifa, the same thing. Kalen Clay had a touchdown on 2 only. And I didn't get it the whole season. And then I had a playoff game. I was like, oh, maybe he'll do it in the playoffs, but he didn't. So I was like, well, Henry Ellard, I was like, maybe this is just my my fate here that I'm not going to get a touchdown with these guys. I know, and it's not like the guy had it on a 3 or 4; it's only on a 2. But there he was. He hit it tonight. So, and that was huge, because look, Dan's a hell of a coach. He really is. And he took it to me in the regular season, 31-21, and it really wasn't that close.
Right.
I didn't realize until I was preparing for this game that I had not done spreadsheets for his passing game before that game, because I don't do spreadsheets for every game in the regular season. I probably don't even do them for maybe more than half, whatever. But obviously for the Super Bowl, I wanted to do it, and I was hustling to get it done before the game started. That's one of the reasons I was 10 minutes late. But after the spreadsheets, I saw that really his long pass game, he hit me with some long passes the first time around, was really not something I should be that concerned about. It was much more dangerous for me to let him just dink and dunk me. If I let him dink and dunk me against my middle linebacker 4, my outside linebacker 0, the odds were in his favor. I think I had played him fairly early in the season. I hadn't yet really gone to 3-4 that much because I really liked the pass rush and the run defense with the 4-3 and the 6-6-5-5 that I had, and Ricky Jackson coming up. But the second half of the season, I started playing a lot more 3-4 against any team that could West Coast me, because those are the only teams that I was having trouble with when I was on defense, was teams that West Coasted me. And it makes sense because, like, whenever you hear me do the SOMIFA season previews and stuff, anytime I see a 4-3 defense that has, like, doesn't have a linebacker 6 and the guys are 5s even, or 4s and 5s, I say this guy's going to have trouble against a West Coast team. Now this league doesn't even play the white die 6, but Danny White's card is so good, and the flat pass, and all of his receivers are real good on the flat pass, except the flanker. But flanker's kind of standard flanker for flat pass. It's fine. Usually the wideouts aren't great old days, but they're good enough. But both of his backs are real good at it. And of course, Doug Cosby's great at it, and then Tony Hill's dangerous down the field. Then I had 4 covering his flanker, and with Carl Poe in there with a 9-15, that was going to be an issue. So there was a lot to be concerned about against his offense, and I said, I'm going to go 3-4, and I'm going to give him shots down the field. I'm going to bring that safety up a lot. I'm going to flood those flats. I'm going to mix in an occasional run call because I know what kind of year Craig James had for him, and Craig James was still dangerous on my spreadsheets here tonight. Not dominant, but dangerous. He came out nickel 3-3. He came out 3 wide to spread me out, so he could definitely take shots at the flats. Nathan style. Nathan likes to do that. And then mixing the occasional bomb to either the 3rd wide out or one of the other guys who's covered by 4. Tony Hill's only covered by 5, and he has a good card. So, you can throw to those guys. I got a couple early stops on him. For a touchdown, I had another drive, and then it was 10-0. And just like when he was on offense, the dice were just going my way in terms of the running game, especially. I think he got one 18-yard run with Craig James early on a box. I didn't see Craig. I told Dan in the post game, I didn't see Craig James' wrong column until he got like a short gain, like in garbage time. You know what I'm saying?
An unbelievable run of bad luck. And again, it's not, look, the majority of calls are going to be pass, and so you're going to be rewarded every once in a while with he's got a very good guessed wrong card. It's just we never saw it. It almost every one of those guessed wrong cards wound up against your Bears front 3 or front 4. And again, there's and on top of that, and not a criticism, but when you have 2 tackles basically at a 0 and you have a guard at a 0 and they come into play, there's literally nothing on that defensive card that's going to lead to anything good.
Yeah, that's true. Now we did have a 17-team league out of 28, so you gotta give somewhere. And Dan decided, listen, I'm going West Coast. I'm gonna be flat passing. I'll chin some on the offensive line, and it worked for him. And look, Dan had a tremendous season. But this is a great group of coaches. I mean, you had, I was telling Dennis this early in the season, even before the season started, that you had, Dennis is there, and Dan's real good, and Jim Riley put together a great team and leave up 190 points, and Joe Golden and Ron Martin, Rick Byron is the defending Battle Royale champion, and Butch has got an AW championship in his background, and all the other guys are also usually at least pretty good or up and coming and learning, but that top half, that is really a tough group. That top half is really a tough group. And you weren't gonna. I don't think you were gonna win just by being a good coach. I mean, you're gonna have to get some luck. And like, I think against Ron, I definitely got some luck. The whole luck of that game turned around right before the first half.
Mm-hmm.
This team was charmed all year, and I feel like I coached well tonight, but Dan couldn't do anything with his running game, which was a big part of it. And then also, I was running the ball a lot against him. I looking at, my offense against his defense was not a great matchup for me because my quick is covered by the 4, but everyone and his brother knows that. So Dan's going to double team the hell out of my quick.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a left outside 4 that I can pick out with flat passes, but he plays a 3-4, so we could slide a guy out there. And then he's 6'5'4", 6'5'5" on the defensive line, and he can bring the right outside 6 up sometimes, which he didn't because he was concerned about stumps. So he only brought him up a little bit because I beat him on that once or twice. So I felt like I have to run. I have to run, and I got to run line buck, slide that left inside out to help that 4. So I got to run line buck. I got to run off tackle to my left, which the spreadsheets also were in favor of, especially with Mitchell. And then maybe, and actually my big passing plays, I was going to throw flats or look-ins if he was bringing linebackers up, or short pass to my quick was kind of going to be my guess wrong play because usually I throw bombs instead of short pass with A-Bear because he's pretty similar on both. And then I don't know when I started doing it was in the second half that I started throwing those bombs to quick. I got one early third quarter and I got one late third quarter because I could tell that he was running keying a little bit and trying to flood the flats and flooding the flats and calling run. I said, at this point I'm running. It's funny. I only had 86 yards rushing. It seemed like I did better than that, but the field position helped, I guess. I was plus 13 in average field position. That doesn't even include the touchdown. Mm-hmm. But like I was running enough that he was concerned about it and had to start paying a little bit of attention to it. And then I happened to hit him with long passes to quick on guess wrong when he was in short yardage over on King.
Right.
And that's obviously very favorable for me when he's only covered by a 4 anyway. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, he had a long pass, no man against a 4 that the 4 made the play. Although later on the 4 did not make the play, but still. So that worked out real well for me. I got 2 big touchdowns there in the second half. Because when I was up 17-0 at halftime, I felt pretty confident. Mm-hmm. Like I told you in last game, all right, he's got to kick to Ron Brown to start the second half. So right. I'm up 17-0. Ron Brown's about to get a kick. I've got a good defense. All right, as long as I don't start turning the ball over, I've got a very good chance to win this game, And then I threw that bomb early third quarter and hit it for 57 yards and a touchdown. And I felt pretty good then. I had another bomb late in the quarter that was really a clincher. Once I went up 37 late third quarter, I felt pretty good that I was going to win the game,
Right.
Yeah, but no, I feel good because I don't I mean Dennis plays in, and now he's down to maybe 11 leagues, or maybe he's back up to 12. I don't know, but Dennis plays in all these leagues, and it seems like every single league he either makes the semifinals or further. Okay, right. So he's playing. God, he's playing probably 4 or 5 Super Bowls a year at a minimum. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't usually go all out for the year, so Battle Royale is good for me to do that, or in this case, Summer Sprint. Because obviously there is no future in these leagues. Obviously, you're going for the now. Right. So yeah, it feels good to win. It feels good to win. I mean, I had won the Super Bowl in Battle Royale or Summer Sprint before. I think Battle Royale I played once or twice. Summer Sprint, I think I played 3 of the 4 years. I lost the first Summer Sprint Super Bowl to Dennis. He destroyed me. It was like this game. It was only 20-7, but it might as well have been 35-0. Mm-hmm. He might have had like 11 sacks. So. That was early spreadsheet days. I was not incorporating the pass rush yet.
Okay.
So, and you saw the result. But also, Dave Wilson didn't really fare too well in his unexpected debut.
Yeah, I noticed that
in the Super Bowl.
I just about freaked out when I saw that. I couldn't believe it. I thought, what is the strategy here exactly that you'd be saying?
Well, if you freaked out, you can imagine how I felt because it was not intentional.
Right, and that happened.
He was not only was it unintentional, but he got picked off from Dan's 34 in the first quarter of the Super Bowl, up 7-0, and it would have been first and goal from the 6 on A-Bear's card. Mm-hmm. All right, and I did not put Dave Wilson in the game. I don't know how Dave Wilson got in the game. Those 2 players must have coordinated something without my knowledge. But I don't know. The playoff depth charts, I've seen them in other leagues too, even some infant family leagues do strange things at times.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the first time I've ever seen a backup quarterback in the game and then like have a huge impact like that. I think I may have seen a backup quarterback in the game before, but not. I rolled an interception on his card that would have been a completion for 30 yards on the other guy's card. I was really upset because really, it's only 7-0 first quarter. I could have lost the Super Bowl on that.
Right.
You never know what's going to happen. But if I get that completion, I got first and goal up to 6. I might go up 14-0, or it's pretty good. I'm going to go up 10-0. And this is a no dump off set, and Dan doesn't really have a big play passing game. It's more of a West Coast thing. So that was pretty upsetting. But fortunately, it didn't come back to hurt me. And stuff like that.
Well, you're going to go back and listen to this broadcast, and if you think you were fooled, well, I was too, because I know he came out basically on that initial drive, the first time you actually had the ball, not the Henry Ellard touchdown, and I saw him basically on one play. I didn't even catch him in on the other one where the interception was. I just assumed it was Bobby Aber. I never even noticed that was Wilson who was in, and I just noticed it here on the box score. Just a moment, I'm like, what is he talking about? I don't even remember Wilson even throwing a pass, and there it is. There's that pick. I missed it. Totally missed it.
Yeah, I remember it.
No, I know.
I know that when you call the games, you have, for people who don't know, Michael, I hope you don't mind me saying, Michael has a visual impairment. So I know you blow up like the card image real big and the screen real big, and then you can't see the text. But no, you may have noticed about a 15-minute delay after the Dave Wilson interception, and right. Dan and I were discussing it. I was expressing my dissatisfaction with the unexpected presence of Wilson on the field and the consequent interception, which would have been a 30-yard completion on Bobby Aber to make first and goal from the 6.
Yeah, it's a shame that the audience is not going to be able to capture any of the conversation between that because it was covered by a card. So we'll just leave that to their imagination.
Yeah, sure. But I didn't throw them any passes in the first half. And then Aber ended up 14 of 19 for 217, 2 touchdowns and no interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike Quick, I love the Mike Quick card. How could you not?
There's your MVP.
Mike Quick had 5 catches for 134 yards and 2 touchdowns. What's amazing is that I know what's amazing is that Dan came into the game knowing Tom was like I talked to you about with whose team? We were talking about somebody's team with Bill Kenny and Ron.
Yeah.
If you're going to play a playoff game or a big game against somebody, or maybe in a regular season game in the second half of the season, one of the things that sometimes you do is you check out the guy's stats, and again, now every matchup is different. So if you're playing a good coach, especially, I wouldn't get too wrapped up in the stats, but you could maybe pick up a couple of things. And like anybody who looked at my stats would see this team is airing the ball out. They're throwing a lot of long passes when they throw it.
Mm-hmm.
I think Quick and Jackson have very big averages, and if you watch the previous 2 playoff games, I've certainly threw plenty of long passes in those games. And, so he probably came into the game saying, I got to make sure not to give Tom easy shots to Quick. Mm-hmm. And he double teamed him a lot early, but yet I still got a couple of long pass wrongs to him in the second half, and I hit them. And so Quick ended up having a really big game.
Yep.
We were focusing on him a lot early. So that was fortunate for me. But no, I feel real good. I told this to Dennis last year when I won the SAMSFA that, I do all the shows and I'm very vocal with my opinions, and I can be, maybe a little too far sometimes and stuff like that, which I guess I do. So if you can do that, you got to back it up, right? You got to win a couple of championships every now and then.
That's true. You are right. Absolutely.
So it feels good for that reason. And the team also, like, this was a spreadsheet team. This was a team where my spreadsheet said, to take the Chicago front 4 over Walter Payton. And I was lamenting and regretting that I had done that and that I had not taken Walter Payton. Right. And I exchanged many, many emails back and forth with Rick Byrons, who won Battle Royale last year.
Uh-huh.
No, who won Summer Sprint last year with Walter Payton. Had chosen the Chicago Bears front 4 over Walter Payton. And the spreadsheets also told me that the Rams return unit was so valuable that they were worth taking, 35 to 40 or 30 to 40 in that range.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, geez, are you really going to do this? You're going to take a freaking kick returner and a punt returner. The punt returner only has a touchdown and 2 in the second round. You know, now I knew I was going to get a running back because I had the penultimate selection of the second round. I was on the wraparound. I knew I was going to get a running back. Probably I would have taken the running back only if I was like 1 pick ahead or whatever. And it worked out. I mean, I really didn't. Like, I outgained Dan by only about not even 80 yards here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the turnovers were even. Give me Egbert first. The turnovers were even. But you know, if you look at my stats the whole season, the team is 13-3, and the team was great with point differential.
Mm-hmm.
But I really didn't outscore the opponent by a tremendous amount.
Nope.
And I was plus like almost 180 points in 16 games. You know, and I led the league in points scored, 403. How could you not lead the league with Bobby Hebert, right? I led the league in points scored, 403. I was third best in points allowed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, normally you see numbers like that and you say, wow, this team is really dominant statistically, and they're going to be like 1,000 yards ahead of the opponent at least.
Mm-hmm.
I think Dennis said the team was like 2,000 yards ahead of the opponent. I was only 297 yards ahead of the opponent for the whole season, the regular season. And I was, of course, plus 9 in turnovers. And my average field position was 6 yards better than theirs. You know, and that adds up if you're going to have, you know, if you think about all the kicks in a game, how many kicks you can have in a game? You can have maybe 4 or 5 punts each. You can have a few kickoffs that are returned back in this era. There's not as many touchbacks. So you might have like 10 to 15 returns per game. And if I'm really dominating in the kick return part of that, because my opponent punt returns are terrible. So I was not going to dominate in the punt thing, but you know, I mean, that's, you know, if here I'm getting a 6-yard advantage in drive start,
yep,
and there's like 10 to 15 of those a game, that's like 60 to 90 of the so-called hidden yards. That's a lot of yardage.
exactly.
If I told you you were going to outgain the other guy by 60 to 90 yards from a scrimmage, you'd be like, that sounds pretty good, you know?
That's right. You took a look at the statistics here before this. I had noticed that in this game in particular, Danny White entered this game second in the league in quarterback percentage. He had Tony Hill, who had more receiving yards than anybody else in the league, more touchdowns than anybody else in the league. And then you just previously before that had played Bill Kinney, who had a very strong – he was in top 10 in multiple categories. Craig James was in the top 5 in rushing. I believe he finished with like 1,500 yards. So you, in the last couple of games, have faced some individual performing players and held them in check. So, but if you look at your statistics, there's nobody really top 10. You know, obviously, Hebert's not in the top 10 in anything. No running back. Even Stump Mitchell's not in the top 10 in anything either, because he's not a limited carry running back, but he can't tote the rock 30 times a game. And I don't believe that Mike Quick was in the top 10, maybe in reception average,
No.
But really there was no dominant star on this team at all. And so I think that speaks to what you're saying about having a strong kick return and punt return team. That excellent field position means that whereas most people have to start their drive from like the 20 to 30, here you are almost consistently at the 35 to the 40, and that makes a big difference. It's a shorter field.
Yeah, and I usually do a good job making sure I have a pretty good kicker, and the Fawad squad missed a few kicks in the first half of the season, but then he came through later on. He was 2-9 for the 23 to 32, I think, and for this era, that's pretty good. Another guy said similar kicker. Dan had a good kicker, and Eddie Murray. But yeah, you know, I mean, I found in Strata actually that a lot of times in the online leagues, like in the Samifa leagues, for example, the teams that are the best, they don't have individual guys dominating in the stats.
Right. I'm learning that actually. Yeah.
You know, and part of that is most good coaches can shut down or really inhibit the effectiveness of one player, except for the great quarterback, whatever. But also most good GMs know I need a team that can, you know, that has a lot of different ways to succeed in offense. You know, I mean, if you want a quarterback, because there's going to be a game. You know, like on my teams. I mean, like this game, if Dan had not gone short yardage or run key to, and they just called run in those situations. I don't know if the dice roll would have made a difference, but maybe Mike Quick wouldn't have gone off as much. If he had double teamed him a little more, he could have shut down Mike Quick.
Right.
So I mean, with enough double teaming, you can like shut down or take away almost any receiver, make the guy afraid to throw to him.
Correct. Right.
So that's why a lot of times you'll see, like my Somifa team this year, Julio Jones upcoming with the new game out, and he's got a tremendous card. Okay, none of my other receivers are anywhere near as good as him, so he's going to get double teamed mercilessly. So he's not going to get the stats that Julio Jones should get. But Zach Ertz or somebody else is going to have to pick up the pace. So as an offensive coach, as a GM, you always want to get 4 or 5 good passing targets and have some kind of running game, and you need to mix up your play calling. So if you're mixing up your play calling, you're not going to have one guy who has dominant stats. Now the great quarterbacks, if you have a good team and you coach well with them, they should still be up there. Brady and Rodgers and those guys. But yeah, a lot of teams, don't have that. And in a lot of ways, you're better off. If you have a bunch of real good players, there's really no one that the other guy has to take away. I like having a guy that the defense is going to pay attention to, and I can play off of that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I was fortunate with this team. They played a lot better than I thought. Once I started playing 3-4 against those West Coast teams the second half of the season, that kind of went away as a major problem. Look, Dan had some shots down the field, he didn't hit them. Ron had some shots down the field, he didn't hit them. And my shots down the field this game were mostly wrong with no men against a 4, which is favorable to Mike Quick. And Aber got the job done. Who would have thunk it?
Absolutely. Who would have thunk it? Absolutely.
And I guess Mike Quick would be the Super Bowl MVP. I guess more than
yeah, there's no doubt. You basically just handed the trophy to him. You got it first, and then you just gave it over to Mike Quick, and he's driving off with the new Corvette.
Yeah, so I'm pretty happy, pretty satisfied. I mean,
you absolutely should be.
And I've been on the other end. Like I said, Dennis took me to the woodshed 3 years ago in the first summer sprint. Summer sprint was my idea.
Oh,
it's a battle royale format. But I remember emailing with Dennis a few years ago in like May or something, or early June. I was like, Dennis, we should start a league just for the summer, like a real short season. Call it summer sprint. We'll play the whole season in 2 months before the new game comes out, because we have no games to play, like in June and July. If you're not in the playoffs or whatever, or even if you're the playoffs, maybe you get 1 or 2 games. So being Dennis, of course, he said, I like it. More games is good for Dennis. And he got us started for the 1983 USFL. I think was the first one we did. Alan Risher was my quarterback. And Dennis beat me handling the Super Bowl 20-7, but it wasn't even that close. That was a fun season. We were like 10, 12 guys in that. And then it's been retro ever since, 86, 83, 85. And next year will be 82. And speaking of which, did you get to install your new game yet, Michael?
You do realize that me and you and Dan would be probably the only 3 Strat fans on the planet who have not installed the new game.
Well, you're wrong about that, because I did install the game, because you can install it and name it something else or put it in a separate directory. So when you go to install it, it gives you the option to, C prompt. So I installed it as Stratomatic Football temporary. Okay?
Well, okay.
And that's what, and unless you have unless you're extremely tight on hard drive space, really bad.
Yeah.
Stratomatic game with 1 season doesn't take up a lot. Once you start adding a lot of other seasons, it's a different story. So I've already looked at many cards. I'm quite fond of Andrew Luck's card, even though he's getting interceptions on it. So
well, Dennis played this smart. He knows who I am, and he knows that mistakes are probably going to follow. And he knows I would be scrambling to put this broadcast on late, and so I heeded his warning and said, let's don't install it. So I decided to stay out until about 9:50 and then came back just in time to start this game. The Sandman's calling here in just a little bit, but I will be putting that thing in first thing tomorrow.
All right, Michael. You enjoy the card images.
Hey,
okay?
Congratulations. This was I hate to see a blowout like this, because these playoffs actually all were really, really tight. But you clear and away deserve this win, and I do want to congratulate you. And listen, watching your broadcast, you're the one who reintroduced me to this game. But it's really fun to broadcast one of the games of the person who basically put me into this game, and it was really fun to watch. I hated to see a blowout, but at the same time, I do want to congratulate you. And, of course, Dan, both of you guys had fantastic seasons, and we'll see both of you guys in plenty of leagues this fall.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Michael. Thank you for calling the game. And I know we had a conversation when you first joined the online community about how you were listening to our games, and that I brought you into it. So that makes me feel good.
Very much so.
And I think you're an up and coming coach. So, you know, it might take you a year or two to get where you want to be, but I think there's a good chance you'll get there. So I've seen other guys do it. So hang in there. Okay.
I certainly will. And when I do, I'll remember all the advice that you've given me. And again, congratulations once again to Tom Cook, coach of the Lincoln County Lettermen, who tonight have taken home the Summer Sprint 2017 crown with a 33-7 win over the Maine Chiefs. So congratulations, Tom. Thank you for joining us here in this broadcast.
Thanks, Michael. You have a good night.
You have a good night, too. And we will be wrapping up the Summer Sprint season. Again, thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you again next summer. Take care, everybody.